Good morning, my artsy friends. Happy Monday. Welcome to our regularly scheduled Monday Morning Live. Of course, I'm Ken Johnson, your thrifty apprentice, and I hope you all are doing well. It has been quite a weekend for me, moving into the beginning of a brand new week behind 31 days of painting with World Watercolor Month. And let me tell you, friends, I did really need a little break, although I didn't really take a break. I took a little, a day and a half away from doing something watercolorish before I jumped right back in. So we'll spend the first part of this video, as we normally do, going through the things that may be coming up or may be new. Then we're going to jump directly into the meat of this live today, which is taking a look at a influencer sponsored watercolor set that has been released by one of the more budget friendly art production companies that are on the market at the moment. So let's just jump right in. If you missed it, the flip through for all 31 paintings of World Watercolor Month was done live, I do believe, this past Friday. Edits have been done to that live. So if you would like to go check it out, if you didn't get a chance to see it, you can go take a look at all of the supplies I use, both watercolor, water soluble mediums, the papers, and all 31 paintings. The hope is that possibly that video will lend you some type of inspiration, and there are 31 things to choose from. Give them a try. Some of them have time lapse or full length tutorials between YouTube and or Patreon. So do be sure to check those out if you're a part of either of those communities. So cool, really enjoyed it, but I did need to take just a bit of a break from using watercolors once that was over. So I spent my weekend, yeah, I went to Jerry's. I'll show you what I picked up. I picked up some Fabriano Artistico paper. Of course, you've heard me talk about it the last, basically throughout the month of July, because I came to discover that it's that particular paper that is bound inside the Etcher Lab branded sketchbooks, which I find myself really a big fan of. Ironically enough, after I picked this up at Jerry's, I took a look at the listing for the particular sketchbook that I used throughout World Watercolor Month on Amazon, and I noticed that Etcher lists that as a mixed media paper, not as a watercolor paper. And I thought that was interesting too. So it does say that it's 100% cotton, but it calls it a mixed media paper. It didn't say it was specifically watercolor paper. So I'm going to dig around again through Fabriano's line of papers to see if I can find the 100% cotton mixed media paper. In the meantime, I did start to paint on this. I'll just show you a glimpse really quick. I'm painting this sort of summery composition. It's going to be, you know, have watermelon in it. That's not the point. And I am painting it for the camel community. I'm a part of the Camel Artist Art community over on camelart.com, and I do paintings and submit it with their brand of products. So I'm painting this with the actual camel watercolors. That way I can submit that over on the site. Really cool. And if you're a part of the camel community, check out my page over there. So did pick that up. Let's see what else is new. I also picked up a sepia. What is this? One? Yeah, 1 millimeter sepia, 1 millimeter. I figured that would be, that would be big enough. I don't have any brown microns or brown fine liners that are waterproof, so I wanted to pick that up. Ironically enough, at the Jerry's I went to open stock, this was almost $3, which was surprising. Um, Anything else new? No. Something else I'm working on coming up, and I'm kind of working on a prototype now so that I can show you guys a full length video later. But I am working on actually creating a handmade custom watercolor block. In this case, this is just my test block. I'm almost done with getting all of it glue bound, and then I'll be creating the cover and the wraparound for it and all that type. But so you can stay tuned for that video coming up later on the channel, basically trying to show you how you can take your more economical or budget papers, the ones that you might not use that much, cut them down, turn them into watercolor blocks. That way you won't have to take the paper down. It'll make it a little bit more convenient for you to paint on and go ahead and use that paper up. Because of course I've been stressing again throughout World Watercolor Month, experiencing paper sizing issues. And that's not something I ever want. That's not something any of us really ever want to go through. I mean, if we buy the paper, we want to be able to use it. And yeah, I have papers that have been in my stash 4 or 5 years. I really need to do better. I really need to do better. I have too many sketchbooks. So I'm working on that prototype so I can release that video where we'll walk through making our own watercolor blocks. Let's see. Anything else before we jump in? I did start to test. If you are a part of Patreon, free or Creation Station member, you did get to see the post where I have finally started to test the Unbox pencil 36 count set. This is a color pencil set that was released by the same company that releases the also famous Posca acrylic markers. Now, that post over in the creation, not in the Creation Station, Patreon. It's on Patreon, period. Anyone can see it. It's kind of walking you through the swatches I did, two little preliminary tiny paintings. I kind of put on the same paper with the swatching. Color pencil work does take a while, even when you're doing something small. And I don't really consider myself a true color pencil artist. I believe that I do okay with them. I really use color pencils more in a mixed media style when I use them to kind of augment my watercolor paintings or my gouache paintings or something that I've created with a water soluble base. So they're typically used in combinations with other mediums. But of course, as long as I'm doing the field testing and reviewing, I do perform standalone creations with the pencils just to see how they would work themselves, in the field. So I've started that process for these pencils. You can look for I'm not going to say a full-time video, a real-time video coming on YouTube with these because again, color pencil work takes quite a while. So more than likely it'll be a time lapse, but there will be at least one creation video released before we get around to the review for those pencils as I work on them in the background. Let's see. Anything else? I think that's it. I think that brings us up to speed uh, of anything I was going to talk about before we jumped into the video. So, friends, let's crack this up. We are taking a look at Artistro branded 24 count watercolor set. This is touched by the influencer Hannah M.P. Now, I'm going to be honest, I had to go do some research. I had no idea who Hannah M.P. was, but I am very glad I decided to go do some research because I found a very creative soul. If you have not checked her out, if you do not know who she is, she does have a channel here on YouTube. So please do take the time to go give a look see. Maybe it's the type of content that you will like and will enjoy, and you may want to give it a follow. Uh, she is a watercolor artist, and she is very, very talented. Her page is filled with very inviting thumbnails of gorgeous landscapes and really colorful and bright work that, in my opinion, from first glance, seems to be, rather beginner friendly. Some of it is more intermediate to advanced, but she seems to concentrate on artists of all levels. I took a peek into one or two of her videos, and she seems to have a really inviting spirit. So definitely somebody you might want to go check it out. Now, this particular video I just happened upon here is her showcasing the very set that we are about to take a look at. So again, in your spare time, when you have a moment, go check out Hannah's page. We are all about, excuse me, promoting other artists, especially when it comes to artists who are trying to develop independent business. As a business person myself, someone who's trying to grow his own art business, I'm all on board. But with that said, we do know that influencer products are typically not produced by the influencer. They're typically white labeled by a company, or they do partnership with an existing budget company in order to put their name on a package. And it does increase viewership at the end of the day, you know. So we're gonna crack this open. It comes in a pretty help. The box is actually kind of thin considering the fact that the palette is all wood. I did find that a little disturbing. But watercolor paint set 24 colors plus watercolor paper. So this is technically might be considered an art kit when you think about it. Now, when you flip it over on the back here, it's going to tell you that this is a unique watercolor palette. Hannah MP says, "Hi there, my name is Hannah and I am a professional landscape artist. I had a blast working with Artistro to create my dream watercolor set. We handpicked 24 vibrant and mixable colors, created two custom watercolor brushes, and included a pad of luxurious watercolor paper, so you have everything you need to succeed. I am so excited to share this project with you, and I hope you fall in love with the watercolors as much as I have. If you'd like to check out my art, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at hannah.mp." And that is sort of her welcome to you as far as the watercolor set goes. Here you're going to get a digitized color swatching, which of course you can never really base any information on because it's digitized. Keep that in mind. Any water soluble product, I definitely suggest that you swatch it, and you swatch it on the paper type that you use the most, so you'll have the closest matching reference to how that product is going to perform on the paper that you love. It gives a opacity rating chart as well as a light fast rating chart. So they have supposedly done independent light fast testing and given the paints a rating. Now, of course, that boils down to how much you trust budget companies to truly be conducting their own independent light fast testing, or whether or not that budget company is getting that light fast and artist information from the factory they're white labeling from. Let's be clear. Artistro is a budget company, and this is not throwing anything under the bus. You guys know I just like to be honest. Artistro is a budget company, and I'm pretty sure they do not produce their own products. They more than likely, like a lot of other budget companies, white label their products from a factory that has pre-existing stock that is then curated for the Artistro brand. And I have some pretty good suspicions about who does that for Artistro. Artistro then partnered with Hannah, where Hannah picked 24 pre-existing colors from Artistro's line in order for this set to be produced, and that's what we're looking at. What's included is going to be two brushes, watercolor paper, a paper a swatching sheet, 24 unique colors, and a mixing tray. This product, trying to see here, conforms to ASTM D4236 regulation. It does say for not for kids under 3. It may contain small choking hazardous parts. And I'm looking for the manufacturing information. Okay, here we go. So it gives you the address, the contact information for Archistro, which is actually in China. So this is a Chinese budget brand. Uh, just trying to see if I'm missing any important information that I need to share with you guys. No. All right. I thought that Artistro was an American budget-based company, but according to what I just saw, their address, even Artistro's address, is headquartered in China. So that's interesting. All right, that box is pretty thin. You can keep that to repurpose it into a watercolor sketchbook, a junk journal. Yeah. So that base could start, that could be the beginning of a whole nother project. So included is the watercolor paper. Now, I wish I had a known. Well, I wish I had paid attention because I really would have done all of the testing on this paper because that's what makes sense, right? It's 10 pieces, 300 gems, 140 pound, 8.2 by 8.2. So basically 8 by 8 paper, Okay, it did not say 100% cotton, so I'm going to assume automatically that it is a 100% cellulose paper. The swatching chart is printed on that same paper. Pretty unique texture to that. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Holding it up so that maybe you can kind of catch a glimpse of the texture that's on that paper. The back of the paper is smoother. So if I had to say, it's probably not double sized. It's probably just sized on, okay. Sizing is probably just mixed into the batch before it's poured into the mold. Okay, the printing on it seems to be a little light as far as the black ink is concerned. So I'm going to be really interested to see how this holds color. They did include the light fast chart and the opacity chart on the actual swatching sheet. The swatching sheet already has each individual name, light fast, and opacity rating already in the block for you. That's actually pretty cool. I like that idea. Okay, I really like that idea. And as some of you guys know, I do produce my own products and things like this. I really pay attention to. I really like this swatching sheet. That's cool. Everything is already pre-printed for you. All you need to do is put the color in there. I like that. Okay, I'm gonna keep that out. I'll just be doing we'll be double swatching, double swatching. All right, let's take a look at this palette. Look at this beautiful wooden box. Did it say what it's made of? Um, feels like cedar. Let's see. Does it say? I'm trying to see on the box if it tells me what wood it is. It does not. I'm probably going to have to save that bit of information for the review. Let's move on. Let's pop this open. It is latched with two kind of golden hot badges on the side that you would remove. Artistro Hannah M.P is wood graved or I'm sorry, burned embossed into the top of the wood. Okay, on the inside here you have 5 wheels, plastic mixing tray that will remove. Look at that. That's nice. That's kind of heavy. Like that's not cheaply made at all. Okay, so the palette is a little suspect. It's a little thin, but yeah, for the way it's drilled to fit into the top to make it really, it's got the little door latches here to latch it down. Am I putting it back in the right way? Let's see. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Am I putting it in wrong? I possibly am. You guys know I'm not wrapped all that tight. But that just means it's in there securely, I guess. That's pretty cool. Take it out and clean it. All right. Inside you have a brochure here. Let's see. It's showing other Artistro products. It gives you different techniques: dry on dry, wet on wet, flat or even wash, graded wash. So you're getting a little information here: glazing, dry brushing. You can definitely tell this is kind of geared towards maybe a novice or a beginner watercolor, somebody picking up their first watercolor set. It kind of tells you what to paint, how to clean up, painting tips. We're not going to go through all of that. There is a overlay, plastic overlay, again, digital swatching, kind of showing you where your colors are laid out inside the palette. And then you get to 24 full pan. These are definitely full pan size. Let's see if we can get one of these out. Are they glued in? Let's see. It shouldn't be that hard to come out, right? It seems to be moving, so I think it's just a matter of getting. I think maybe a glue dot is holding them in or something. I'm really going to take time to kind of pry one of those. I need something better than that craft knife. I don't want to break it and I don't want to cut myself. Uh, do I have something flat? Oh, where are those aquarelle brushes? Let's see. I want to. Ooh, I want to get it out. Come out. Damn it. Okay, I need a. Okay, I'm gonna try that later. I think it's a glue dot holding those down. Let's see. Yep, they're definitely in there. Okay, so probably a glue dot holding them down. Nonetheless, they look like they're definitely full pan size. I'm not quite sure how deep that is. They really put me in the mind of your fan style flip palettes, which we know are all white labeled by Superior, which is a Chinese based art company who does white label manufacture. They produce their own products, of course, and then they white label products for other budget brands. For instance, this is a right, Royal and Langnickel Essential 18 color fan flip kit, but it is white labeled by Superior. And this style paint puts me so, or it just feels so familiar. Once I swatch them, I'm gonna know for sure because most of you guys know I'm a Superior fan. So we'll see how that goes. Let's get everything set up here. I made a swatching sheet here for these paints on 100% cotton paper. So I'm probably going to double swatch them. I really want to know how they're going to perform on a cotton paper. And I'm pretty sure that that paper included um, is not cotton paper. There are some brushes included. Oh, let's see here. There are two wooden handle brushes. They seem to be golden Tecline. There's a number 4 round, and there is a number 12 round. Well, their version of a number 12. I'm gonna say that. I'm assuming it's golden Tecline. I don't know. I'm not sure about the brushes now. Just from the feel of them, they are definitely very, very, very light. Seem like they're almost hollow. They're so light. Um, the ferrules are made of. It looks almost like painted aluminum. Um, yeah. So I'm not sure about the brushes, but the palette itself is beautiful. Seems pretty stable. It's definitely heavy. So yeah. Now, if these are superior paints like I think they are, you really don't need to pre-wet them, but we're gonna do things the right way. So I'm gonna mist that palette. And I need to figure out how to get a mixing palette on the screen or something that I can mix with. Is this clean? Yeah, this is gonna be clean. All right, that little thing will work in case we need to mix anything out. I'm gonna start with a flat brush as soon as I can put my hands on it. This is a synthetic squirrel number 6 flat. It's what I typically use to swatch my paints with. And we're going to jump off swatching number 1, which they call titanium white. And ironically enough, even on their swatch sheet, they did not, make that a dark square. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. I'm going to swatch them at mass tone. It's a student, no doubt in my mind already, it's a student grade paint. Now, this set currently on Amazon is almost like, I think it's 50, it's like 49.99, or it's not cheap. Let's say that. And it's the set that Artistro is using as like their flagship paint set. Um, that's actually not too bad. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. And let me know if the lighting is not, right for you guys. I will definitely close those blinds and turn on the studio lights. It'll change the lighting, but you'll be able to see. So let me know if you need that to happen. I'm going to swatch a few and then I'll stop and check the comment section. Next up, we're swatching cadmium red. I'll tell you what I did not notice. They gave us opacity information. They gave us light fast information, but they didn't give us any pigment information. Now, I know right away there's going to be some people like, I don't really care. I know there's some people who don't care, but you should know that there's some people who do, and we have both of those type of people on this channel, okay? So I don't ever want anyone to get upset about the fact that we talk about light fastness and opacity and things of that nature because it is an important aspect to some people. And you have to keep in mind that some people actually make a career out of art teaching it. Some people produce their own products. And it's important to know these type of things when you're in that type of business, okay? Because I heard, I was on a live not too long ago, and there was a comment made where the person said that they immediately get annoyed when they hear people talking about life hacks information. And I just thought to myself, well, that's so sad. Maybe that's because you might not understand why it's important to some people. Um, and maybe if you understood why it's important to some people, then you might not get offended when you hear it because you know you then have a better understanding of why they need to hear it, at least that's how I was thinking. But I felt I wasn't upset with the person. I actually felt bad. I felt bad because I felt like, well, maybe they just don't know. Next up we have a Alizarin Crimson for their version of it's a beautiful color. Yeah, it is. Okay, so they're definitely familiar paints. That's a beautiful. That's beautiful. They're concentrated. Now, when I say familiar, keep in mind that if you white label, like if you're a company who produces your own paints, or budget company that are white labeling a paint from a pre-existing company, um, that company will work with you and allow you to twerk and tweak sets, colors, formulations, appearances, but the base formula they already have. And how much money you're willing to spend depicts how much alteration they're willing to make to the base formula and the base presentation for you. This paper is not actually, that's, hmm, okay. For that not to be a 100% cotton paper, it's not doing too bad. Next, I'm not sure about the the way the colors are laid out in the palette, but hey, maybe this is how Hannah lays out her colors. I really didn't pay attention to that as I was looking at the videos. So maybe this is how she lays things out, but we're swatching burnt sienna at the moment. And I definitely would not have this color this far up in my palette. It would be included in the earth tone section. So but there's different strokes for different folks. Different artists do different things. We all have our own way of painting, our own style. The only hope we can come up with is that we are able to be open enough to learn and pick up on something from someone else. Let me go back here. I didn't swatch it. I want to make it look uniform. I like for my swatching sheets to be kind of, I don't know, cutesy. It's not very boyish, is it? Not very manly. I want my swatching sheet to be cutesy, but I do. All right. I need to swatch the burnt sienna here. And I'm not gonna make too big a deal if I go outside the line doing this. What I think I want to do is just leave this one inside the palette. It would seem that it's kind of what it was made for because the palette is so big. And of course, if you ordered something like this, you could always remove the paints and use the palette for whatever you want because honestly, it's gorgeous. Next up, we're going with cadmium orange, and I'm gonna speed up a little bit here, friends. I promise I am. Cad orange. Oh, that is bright and ooh, that's vibrant. It's gonna be curious to see how much of a shift it has. So although I feel like these may be superior paints, I think that they're a little bit more pigmented than some of the sets. They really kind of put me in the mind of Artwell, and I'm pretty sure that that is a different formulation of superior paints as well. They really remind me of art. That is so gorgeous for it to be a convenience color. It's gorgeous. I'll go back and glaze on those to see how that works out a little later. Right now, I'm just going to put down water swatches as we get through this. Next up, again, sort of out of order for me, but in this palette, you'll be swatching yellow ochre. This is another color that would be in my earth tones and not this far up in the palette if I was to lay it out. Like if I was squeezing two paints into pans and setting up a palette. Or even if I bought a half pan palette, I would more than likely rearrange it. I'm more of a rainbow order boy. It's a lot of swatching to do with 24 colors. So you guys, I know I haven't checked the comments section. Just bear with me, okay? I really want to get this done because I really want to get through that beginner, the little quick demo with you, just in case I don't do another painting with this set before I review them. Because I'm sure I've used these paints over and over in many iterations, and yeah, I would just be saying the same thing over and over. This set is probably just going to have an overview. This color is cadmium yellow. Am I on camera? Yeah, okay. I hear stuff falling. I'm not sure what it is. This is cad yellow. Now, odds are they're not disclosing it, but these are hues. Um, I seriously doubt if that is true CAD yellow or true CAD orange. They just haven't put the word hue on there, unfortunately. They're bright though. Look at that. Especially on that 100% cotton paper. I mean, they're bright on the cellulose paper, but on this cotton paper, they are gorgeous. I could paint an entire composition with those, and not tell you they were superior paints, and you would never figure it out. Next up, we have lemon yellow. And I did paint a few paintings during World Watercolor Month with those art wheel paints. Um, so you really recently got to see how these paints perform. Now the swatching paper is buckling a little bit, so this is giving me a pretty general idea of how the watercolor paper included in the pack itself would work out. It's not too bad. It seems thin to me. It says it's 140 pounds. I think that's what it said, but It seems a little thin to me. Next up, we're swatching sap green, my favorite green in all the world. Of course, this one has fillers in it because we're talking. And this is a little bit on the yellow green side. This isn't a true sap green. It's just a hue that they're calling sap green. And I'm noticing that most of these are 3 and 4 stars. And according to this chart, 3 and 4 stars are strong to extra strong, which I think is really interesting because titanium white and cad red has 2 stars, which they say are normal. But then alizarin crimson has 3 stars, which they're saying is strong. That doesn't seem right to me, but okay. Uh, so just things like that. These are things that people who would like teach art classes or produce their own products. These are things that they would need to know and pay attention to. I have not been doing my little tops. And you guys probably have said that to me in the comment section. And because I haven't paid attention in a minute, I haven't seen it. That's okay. Let's go through here and get my little tops done. Back up, gotta back it up for a second. I almost said something I shouldn't. I always try to keep kid friendly just in case somebody decide to show one of the videos to the babies. Gotta be baby conscious. Okay. And then this one. Now, if you're wondering, these swatching, the stamp I use for this, that's part of Christy Rice's um, swatching stamp set by Paint Crush. You can check it out on paintcrush.com or christyrice.com. I'm sorry. You can get them there. I think you can get them on Amazon too. Olive green is up next. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm just gonna read the information from that swatch sheet. I'll do it later. Let's get through doing this swatch sheet. Um, so olive green had, according to them, 3 stars, making it strong and it is semi-opaque. Before that, we had sap green, 3 stars, saying that it's strong and light fastness and it was transparent. I guess I'll agree with that. Lemon yellow was semi-opaque with 3 stars. Cad yellow is opaque with 3 stars. Yellow ochre is 4 stars, making it extra strong, opaque. Cadmium orange is 3 stars, making it strong, opaque. Burnt sienna was 3 stars, semi-opaque. Alizarin crimson is 3 stars, semi-opaque. Cadmium red is 2 stars, semi-opaque. And titanium white is 2 stars, opaque. 2 stars being normal. So not as good as 3 or 4 stars. Moving on. Next up, we have Hooker's Green. Wait a minute. That Hooker's green is so deep. That's not a green. Oh, it is. Oh my goodness. It almost looks like a blue in the pan. So I would like to say that's probably phthalo just from the way it looks. They're calling this Hooker Green, 3 stars, opaque. It's definitely got PG7 in it, no doubt. Aqua green. All right, I'm about to check the comment section just to see if there were any requests or questions answered, asked that I need to get to real quick. Um, and then we're going to jump right back in. Aqua green is going to be 3 stars, semi-opaque. This is such a common thing to do. It really is. All right, green, we're jumping back in. We're doing turquoise. And turquoise is 3 stars and opaque. Now, with paints of such, you're going to have fillers, extenders, maybe even some dye additives to give you these really bright, punchy colors. Doesn't take away from the fact that it's a gorgeous paint. I'm gonna see if I can kind of keep up with the chat as I do this. We're almost done with the swatching. I'm not gonna put you guys through any testing. I'll do the test, some that salt lifting test, color mixing, all those things on my own. What we'll do is we'll get through the swatching, and then we're gonna jump into doing a little demo with them. Won't take up too much more of your time at all. Next up, we had turquoise. Then the next one was phthalo blue, and phthalo blue was 3 stars opaque. Really? That doesn't seem right. Why would phthalo blue be opaque? Okay, keep going, Ken. Um, Next up is ultramarine blue. Ultramarine blue has 3 stars, semi-opaque. I must admit, I'm a little confused by some of these ratings. I have to say that. I'm not sure if I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure if there's just like copy and pasting of artist information from one company to the next, or exactly what's going on there. I'm still stuck in that's phthalo blue. Okay, all right, let's move on. Next up we have indigo. Indigo is 3 stars, semi-opaque. It looks beautiful. Ooh, look at that. Gorgeous color. That's a very nice color. Next up, we have ultramarine violet. Oh yeah, okay. They're pushing it now. They are pushing it. We have ultramarine violet, and ultramarine violet is 1 star, meaning that it is fugitive and it is transparent. Oh, there's definitely that color is almost neon, a neon purple, a deep neon color, almost. So that's ultramarine violet. Next up, we have quinacridone violet, and quinacridone violet is 2 stars, meaning that it is normal and it is transparent. Now, keep in mind these are the ratings that are included with the paints. Next up, we have quinacridone magenta. Quinacridone magenta is 3 stars transparent. It's a nice magenta, actually. I mean, that hue isn't bad at all. That's kind of gorgeous. Okay. That's gonna come in handy. I like the saturation on that one. Next up we have manganese violet. Manganese violet. So as you can see, they re-wet super well. I'm really just tapping, and this is a synthetic squirrel brush, so it's not. I mean, it's not like it's a hard brush at all. So they re-wet excellent. They really don't dry down half bad on this cotton paper either. Let's be clear, because the ones on the top row are dry, and there has not been a huge shift in that color. Those colors are still very saturated. Oh, you're an emerald person too, May 1st? All right, Virginia. I'm May 6th, my Taurus sister. Um, Next up, burnt umber, kindred spirits and signs. Indeed, that's what's up. All right, that's a pretty decent burnt umber. I don't know. Umber? Yeah, we're saying burnt umber. Okay. I had to think about it. Yeah, that's, I wonder, that might make a really nice neutral. That's the thing about it. The paints are saturated. I'm gonna be honest with you right off. You guys know I'm gonna always be honest with you. I do not trust the artist's information attached to these paints. Okay? So throw that out the window. That goes away. However, that doesn't that doesn't change the fact that they're very bright and saturated colors. They seem super clean. They re-wet really easy. Large pan, easy to get a big brush in, which I'm going to enjoy when I really use these to paint a big painting and start using some really big brushes because you know I like a big brush. I like a big brush and I cannot lie. Absolutely. That was, what was that? Burnt umber. Burnt umber was 4 stars, meaning extra or extra strong and transparent. How did I not have enough? Did I swap something too much? Why do I feel like I'm running out of room? I have 3 more here. I have 2 here. What happened? Why? Did I swatch something twice? Can I not count? 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Okay. 18, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. What happened? What I do? Y'all let me do something twice, didn't you? I see the corporate right there. I swatched something twice. What was that? What was that I swatched twice? It was right behind. All right. Or is it that aqua green and turquoise really look that much alike? Maybe I didn't swatch it twice. They really look that much alike. That's a shame. How did I get off? What happened here? Somebody help me. I don't know. All right. So, oh, I know what happened. Is I'm steady swatching. I'm not crazy. I'm crazy. This is going on. Okay, so that was burnt umber, 4 stars, transparent. That was Van Dyke Brown, 4 stars, transparent. Yeah. I'm in the nap. Next up is Payne's Gray. Payne's Gray is 2 stars. Interesting. Semi-transparent. It's definitely not as blue. Yeah, that's not a true Payne's Gray, but it's a cute try. Not bad. It's a budget set. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, and the things that I'm saying, I say because I want the audience watching to be aware of what they're buying, what they're purchasing. But I am not in any way poo-pooing on the set. It is a nice set of paints. It's superior. I said from the very beginning, I'm a superior fan. I just want people to completely understand, especially if they may be new to watercolors or if they may be watching my channel for the first time. I'm never going to be one of those people that is going to make something seem like gold, or should I say like diamond, like it's on platinum status when it just may be gold or silver. You understand what I mean? Like, I don't want to raise anybody's expectations and hope. I want you to understand exactly what you're getting. And of course, anything I say is solely based on my experience with art products and my painting style. And somebody else may have a completely different opinion, which is why I always encourage you guys to watch more than one art influencer, watch more than one art teacher, watch more than one channel. If you watch product reviews, watch more than one review by people that you, different artists that you trust, so you can kind of get a rounded perspective on a product, right? All right, so there you have all 24 swatches. That last one, those last two were Payne's Gray, 2 stars, semi-opaque, and Lamp Black, 3 stars, opaque. Yes, friends, I do wholeheartedly believe that these are superior white label paints. Okay. Um, I'm probably only going to end up doing an overview of these paints, and I'm probably going to do the overview in a actual like painting tutorial. So I'll keep the tutorial live, or not live. I'll keep it real time. That way, as I'm kind of painting, I can talk about the different qualities and attributes, pros and cons of the paints to set, and just kind of give an overview versus doing a full in-depth review for these paints, because I've already reviewed these paints many times on the channel in different iterations from different companies. So there's that. All right. So what I've done is kind of sketched out some lines here. I blocked off this paper before the video started. I'll grab a pencil and just kind of show you guys what I've sketched on. It's super simple. We're going to keep this real straightforward, kind of beginner friendly. I know what these paints are like. Just going to test them out. So about a third of the way down from the top of my paper, I've drawn a straight line across to get a horizon. And from the left side of that paper, I've simply made a wiggly line down in a V until it meets my horizon and gives me a vanishing point somewhere in there. I'm not going to make my lines too too heavy, um, because then I might not be able to get rid of them. They may get locked down by paint, blah blah blah. Although I'm not a person who really cares. If you've followed me for a while, you know I happen to be a fan of graphite in my watercolor, so that's kind of what it is. And then maybe, I want to say 3/4 of the way down from that horizon line, I've made another straight and narrow line. I'm coming in from the right side of the paper and ending right about where that vanishing point was, where our mountaintop met the horizon line. And that's it. The amount of lines we're making. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Let's jump into this. I'm gonna start with I'm gonna start with a big brush. Start with a big brush. I'm grabbing. Oh, what is this? This is a Night Pro. No, no, I don't want to get that one. There is. Ha! Talking. Speaking of, there's one of the Master Touch synthetic squirrel brushes I was looking for. but that's not what I want to use right now. So you get back in there, and I need. Okay, this one will work. This is a number 10 Artigra brush. I'm not sure where I swatched with it. It can't be too much of anything. Let's, you know what? Let's just use ultramarine. Let's be on the safe side. Let me figure out where it is. One, two, here. Let's just use ultramarine and we'll put it in that well. I'm gonna put some water in there so I can make sort of a wash. We just need enough for the top of our paper. You can wet the top of your paper if you would like to. I'm not going to. I'm just going to go ahead and start in. Try to keep this straight so you guys can see. And then using a gradiated wash, back and forth, side to side until it runs out of paint coming down to the horizon. That's actually a lot more saturated than I want it to be. That paper really grabbed that color. My goodness. Like, really grabbed that color. I'm rinsing my brush. I'm going to pull some of the color out with a towel, and let's see if I can lighten that horizon. So I'm just using a clean damp brush and lifting the bottom part of the horizon. I want that to be a little lighter. Now I'll go back in with a wet brush starting from the top and blend downwards to get rid of any harsh lines that was there. Really quick, real easy, just like that. We have a sky. If you want to, you can use some a paper towel and lift out some clouds. I'm not going to lift out clouds. I'm going to actually create dark clouds, mixing some ultramarine blue. And I'm staying with my big brush. I might regret that in a second though. And I'm going to mix in burnt umber with that blue to give me, hopefully, a dark neutral. I'm switching brushes. I want more water control. So I'm going to switch over to a synthetic golden Teflon brush. I'm sorry. And let me grab something small. I'm going to go with a 1/8 dagger brush. This is Christy Rice's You Do You. um, and I'm going to pick up a little of that color I mix. It's probably more along the dark blue line, which is just fine. And I'm just going to, while it's still wet, just kind of put some softer dark clouds back there maybe. Because it's still wet, they'll become diffused and kind of start to fade into the background. You can put as many or as few in there as you want. I'm not really worried about it one way or the other. This is going to be pretty diffused and it's going to fade off as it dries. They get kind of smaller as they get towards the horizon, thinner, so they look like they have some distance. All right, that's not bad. Real quick. We're keeping it cute. We're keeping it cute. Let's go ahead and add in our water line. I'm switching over to a flat. I love to do my land in water with flat brushes, rocks, anything in nature, landscape just seems to work really easy with the flat brush, in my opinion. So I have a number 6 flat here. And do I want to wet this? I don't want to wet. I don't think I want to wet this. I do. I want to wet this. We're gonna wet this. I'm painting on the fly. I have no idea what is coming out of this. But again, it's just going to be simple. Something to let you see that I did test these paint. I did paint with this paint set. I didn't just swatch it and go, oh, yeah, these are superior paints. I'm done. Um, although I could be, because I pretty much know that's what it is. We're going to start with ultramarine blue. And I did not pull any water out of my brush. What you decide to do here is completely on you. If you want to keep your water flat, keep in mind, you're just going to brush that entire area in. You're going to keep still water that way. If you want to have water that looks like it has a little movement in it, you are going to take the tip, almost like you're painting perpendicular with your brush. And you're going to create these little zigzag motions back and forth in your water. Remember to keep it parallel to the horizon. And give a little motion in the ocean, little oozing and the goozing. You know what I'm saying? You can grab you a little darker here. Let's grab a little bit more concentrated ultramarine blue. Less water on that brush, more pigment. And I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna go in and just kind of brush that color in and let it blend out in that wet area. Keep it darker around your horizon line. It's gonna add distance to your painting. Starts to make it look like your water goes back up in. So I'm gonna continue to. And this is wet, so this is the time you get to play and blend. I didn't put any extra colors in the sky, but I mean, you could put the extra colors in the water if you wanted to. I'm not going to because I just kept our sky blue. I'll put some shadows in the water, of course. And this is actually pretty subtle for movement in my water if you're used to my painting. This paper is nice. This paper is really nice. It's allowing me to do some things here that I really like. It's holding my strokes, although the paper is still wet and blended. That is nice. I like that. Love that. Love that. That is nice. All right. We actually need to let that dry now. Let's go ahead and mix a little dark into that. You know me, brother likes to put his darks in right away sometimes. I'm grabbing just a little bit of that same mixture I mixed up. Ooh, I want to just drop it on my paper. I mixed up for those clouds, and I'm going to brush that in under some of those major blue darker waves that I did with that more concentrated ultramarine. I'm literally going to drop it in directly under each one of those, and it's going to diffuse. Immediately, it's going to start diffusing. But it's going to help enhance. There we go. I like that. That's nice. It's very soft. Very soft. That paper is still blending. That's pretty amazing. That paper is still blending. I like that. All right. We actually need to let that dry. Let's see here. I want to mix up. I'm going to keep it in the ultramarine family. We're not going to deviate too much. So what I want to do is put like a little light mountain in back here. Let's grab that little dagger brush I was working with and mix up some more of the dark we had, which was ultramarine blue. And what I can tell you, I can already tell you these paints are going to be fast wearing, just because that's the nature of superior paints. Ultramarine blue, we were using burnt umber. And I'm actually going to mix some alizarin crimson into that. It's going to take it a little darker and a little more, give it more of a purple undertone. I think that this is going to look better. And we'll go in here and we're going to throw in, oh, a little mountain in the back. Hello. Here I am, people. I am right here. Aha. There he is. Put him out. You can reshape him a little if you want to. Maybe he's got a bigger hump there or something. Or maybe he comes up a little bit more here. Who knows? He's your mountain. Make him look how you want to make him look. It's silhouetted. You don't have to worry about too much. You can bring a little bit more color down to the base of it. Make it look like, I don't know, it's a little bit more shadowed. Maybe there's a little some crooks and crannies in there. Maybe it's two levels of mountain. Just keep in mind that the darker the value is gonna pull forward, and the lighter value is gonna recede, making it look like there may be more mountains behind the first row. See that? And we did all of that with one color. Keep it cute, keep it simple, keep it moving. All of that with one color, one load of the brush. Um, and you can see that we created distance. It literally looks like there's two set of mountains there, one behind the other. All right. What we're gonna do now is go back. We're gonna go way back. Let's put in the foreground. Let's use ultramarine. I listen. This paper. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. This paper is mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. In my book. I'm grabbing some more of that alizarin crimson. Again, we're going for more of a purplish undertone, although it's a neutral. Um, Adding that crimson into that blue-based neutral is going to push it more purplish. And I need, actually, we're going to do something real cute. I'm going to grab the credit card scraper. I'm going to show you a real fun technique. I'm switching brushes, going back over to a synthetic squirrel, but let's reduce the head size. Let's go with a number 6 round here. Add a little bit more water to that. Ooh, that's a beautiful color. Let me see if I can make it a little richer, a little bit more ultramarine, a little bit more burnt umber. Oh my goodness. Wait till you see this hit the paper. I know it's really dark. And that's the thing that throws you about superior paints. Superior paints are, they, well, for the most part, they're transparent, and see, that went too red, and it's almost like I'm losing paint or something. All right, that'll work. I think, oh, that's violet. This purple, y'all. Let me kill that a little bit more with some burnt umber. Okay, that's darker now. And I'm going to just take a bead of that color and we're going to put it in right here, like we're painting in a bush or something. Like, oh my God, what are you doing? It's messy. Is it another rock? Maybe. Is it another mountain? Maybe. Or maybe you can grab your credit card scraper and immediately start pulling up little wispy grasses. Uh-oh, you're gonna end up with something before you know it. Oh, that chicken from Popeye. Put some wispies. That's too big. I don't like that. I'm gonna switch before I make a mess that I don't like. You can grab a liner brush. Let's go with something really thin. Here, this is a number 2 synthetic round. Let's pick up some of that color. And then we're gonna pull up. really tall, wispy grasses. You can pull up something that breaks the horizon line if you want to. Oh, island. Give it some scale if it breaks the horizon line, right? This is just something really simple and fun to test out. This is a great way to test paints. Do I want to put something else there? Maybe it needs to be a big, like a little tree or something. How about that? Yeah. Um, does it need to be a tree right there? Maybe it needs to be a tree in there. Here. Let's put one in there. I don't know. Let's draw in a bark. It's gonna get scale to it if nothing else, right? And let's put us an evergreen in there. You guys know me. Let's put him out. Come out of there. Uh-oh. I see it. Here he come. Come out of there. We're gonna blob him out. We're gonna make a blob evergreen. Just like that. Bam. Come out of there. Oh, you got a bigger skirt. Yep, we need to get bigger at the bottom. There we go. Oh, he came out. See? We didn't have to coerce him too much. There we go. Silhouetted in. And let's put some grassy friends around him. Really stack that up. Here. And the water some. I don't know. Oh no, he just came out of there. I felt like that tree wanted to be there, so he's there now. There we go. Let's see here. We're gonna stick with that same color. We're keeping all of this stuff up close and personal. Let's take up some lines right here on front. Again, we're gonna give ourselves some scale, and maybe it'll end up being some little flowers or cattails or whatever right here on the front. And little weeds and bushes over here too, coming up out this side. Mhm. If you want it to be a little thicker, you can. I'm just throwing in a thin line. Just something to frame the paper with. All right. Maybe there are some birds in the sky. Butterfly flying high. Isn't it sad about PBS and NPR? Isn't that just terrible? No more Sesame Street. Oh my God. Let's see. Maybe we gotta have at least three. I don't know. Maybe there's another one back there. It's three back there already flying together. They kind of hanging out. So I guess I better get my buddy here another one, another friend. Those are just really simple ways to do birds without being very detailed. We throw you a V in the sky. The mind is going to do the rest of the work. You do not have to do too much. Right. Let's put on. Ooh, you know what would be good? We're complicating this up more and more as we go. Let's put on. Let's make these cattails. Let's make these cattails on the front. Maybe there's two or three of them here. Little corn dogs. Just doing a little quick, cute silhouette painting. So, just where else? We need one more. Yeah. I guess it makes sense over here. hmm And just like that, we added a little bit more imagery. Everything needs some shadow. Everything needs some shadow. So I'm watering down. I want to switch brushes first. I want to go to a really thin something. I need a thin here. This is a number 3 round. It's not going to hold a lot of water, but it's still a synthetic squirrel brush. And I want to water down some of this violet I was using to make a shadow color. Let's start back here with our mountain. And I'm just going to kind of emulate, just kind of emulate the shape into the water, following along, just like so. Doesn't have to be exact. You just, if you need to, turn your paper the other way. You know what I'm saying? Add a little bit more color into that. I think that's just a bit light. Can't really see it. I love the purple tone of that shadow. And I want to make it a little heavier towards the bottom and let it bleed up like so. There we go. Let's do same thing here. Taking a really watered version first. And now this one is going to be interesting because we need a bank. Keep it thin, keep it thin, keep it thin right there. We need a bank. And then out of that bank, we need to pull up all types of, say, there's a tree here on the end. Again, keeping that shadow color really watered down and thin because I'm really using it to kind of draw first to figure out where things are. And if I like the way it looks, I'm good with it. I'll go back and add darker color to the bottom of it and then let the rest kind of wick up. It's water, it's a shadow being cast, and using that same that same round, I'm sorry, that I made the grasses up top with. I'm switching over and just grabbing that watery mixture. And I'm making those figures upside down now. It's basically mimicking what's on top. Add a little color to it if you want to, just to give it extra definition. Make sure you can see that. And I'm going to still use a little darker saturation and make thin lines carrying up, like maybe ripples, to kind of finish off that tree. That way you don't have to paint too much detail. You can even kind of bring those ripples on out across the water. Why not? Add a little bit of that back there too. This is easy breezy, friends. Easy breezy painting. Great practice for someone who is already an experienced painter, especially if you're just testing out a new set of paints. You don't want to put in too much effort. You're not sure how it's going to turn out, right? This is a great way to test those new paints. If you're a beginner, this is a great composition for you to give a try. It's going to give you experience with value, creating distance, practicing to create your shapes. I still want a little bit more. I don't know why. I want that shadow to be a little bit more saturated. That's what it is. Okay. Here wouldn't have much that you're seeing from around the little things up front here because they're literally up. You're in its face. So I'm just putting in a little base shadow around those. Nothing distinctual at all. Same thing over here. It's like the front of the pond where you're looking out. All right. Yeah, that's very simple, very straightforward. Anybody can do this. There you have it. If you want to, you could, I don't know, maybe you're mimicking in the water your, I wouldn't get too carried away with this part, like trying to mimic your cattails and stuff in the water. You can, as you can see, you can do it. I just wouldn't, don't get too carried away with that. All right, that's a wrap. Very straightforward and simple here. I'm grabbing me a black marker. You can use alcohol, you can use water based, you can use whatever you want, but you'll see why I do it in just a second. It just adds this extra oomph to the white border when you remove your tape. It gives it a frame that just really makes the picture pop to me. And if I ever want to cut it out and sell it, I could. Not that I would sell this. I'll probably end up giving this away in a Palm Street giveaway. Really nice paper though. I hate I didn't get a bigger block of it now because that was cute to paint on. It kind of reminds me of, never mind, let me not say that yet. Let me use it some more. All right. I don't know what I did with all of my microns. So where's the one I just purchased? Uh, it's brown, but I'm gonna use it. And then when I get I don't know, tonight over in the creation station, guys, we may actually make the cover together for that watercolor block I was working on earlier. Um, so yeah, stay tuned for that. What is it? 8:25? Definitely stay tuned for that. All right, I'm gonna remove this as I check the comment section. 79 degrees cloudy in Johnson City, Tennessee. Oh, Johnson City, Tennessee. Down there, my mom in Miss. My mom is in Mississippi. Just right above her. What's up? Uh, Artistro original colors. I'm not sure because I don't have an Artistro set. This is the only Artistro set I've ever owned. Just because I always felt like they were a rebrand of a lot of different sets I've already tried and tested. Um, but then when this set was released and they started advertising it as like their flagship set, I was like, especially since it was an influencer set, okay, that's gonna be interesting. Uh, oh, that tape removes super easy from that paper, no problem. Oh, I like that. Nice. By the way that tape removes. All right. So there's our little illustration for today. Nothing hard at all. Anybody could do this. It's a project you can do with your kids, project you can do for yourself. Like I said, get yourself started with a quick day of painting. For anybody watching in syndication, we never want you to feel like you weren't a part of the conversation, okay? All right. Hopefully, you picked up on something from this, my friends, that was interesting to you, that helped you out, learn something. If you did, once again, don't forget to sprinkle a little love and give the video a thumbs up. You can feel free to share this live. Maybe there's someone else out there that's not only interested um, and the paint set, but maybe there's someone interested in some of the very things we talked about doing this live before the edits are done. So please do feel free to share. It is caring. The video description, if not already, will have, after this live, all of the relevant links that you need in order to navigate yourself around the thrifty community. All of the social sites, if you're not following on Facebook or Instagram, please consider doing so. I'm really trying to build the Instagram following. There will be links for Palm Street, so you can check us out on Palm Street when we're over there doing the lives. And there will also be links for Patreon if you're interested in becoming either a free member or a member of the Creation Station. So I will be updating the video description literally time this live ends. So give it 2 or 3 minutes, and all of that information will be available to you. Anything else? No. Creation Station members, I will see you all tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we will be doing, of course, mixed media work. And stay tuned this upcoming Wednesday for our regularly scheduled 10 a.m. pre-recorded release. This one will probably be a time lapse, but do remember you can always slow the video down to the speed you need it to be in order to follow along with whatever may be done in those videos. In the meantime, enjoy your week. Take care of yourself. Be kind to one another. Most of all, be kind to yourselves. And remember, as I tell you at the end of every single video and live, my friend, just keep creating.